Hey, what's up? It is that time. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the slam show time. Oh yeah. Dance it up. Dance it up. Can you feel the moves in my body? Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So, sorry about that. Anyways, it's slam show time. Yes, that's right. All right, folks, get your wallets and your titties out. It's time for a slam show. Anyways, yeah, this is it. This is my slam show. It's gonna fucking destroy lives. People are gonna get deaded, and there's gonna be bodies everywhere on the streets of Spreaker because I'm getting involved hardcore here. So you might be asking, what the fuck are you talking about? So this is the Slam Show, courtesy of Barko. Uh, his nickname is the Spreaker Tweaker Deleter because, as we all know, he likes to delete every show he does. Kind of a trademark he's always accomplished for himself. Anyway, so let's start from the very beginning. And the only reason I'm doing this show is because he's getting on my ass. Apparently, he did a slam show last night on me. Supposedly, I didn't listen, but I just figured, well, it's probably deleted anyway, so what can you do? Okay, let's start from the beginning. So, quite a few months ago, this guy, Barko, like, he deleted me off Facebook for something. I don't know what I did, but it pissed him off. And so he deleted me. Okay, so I was like, okay, so he deleted me, and then he was telling everyone how I'm all butthurt about not being on his Facebook or Twitter or something like that. And I was just like, yeah, I am so upset that I cannot be on Barko's Facebook because Barko has a few Facebooks, and one of the funny things about Barko is that he'll write these long ass paragraphs that no one else hits like but him. Think about that for a second here. Here's somebody who writes a lot on his own wall, and then he hits like. That's equivalent to having a portrait in your room of yourself and you signing it. And then when I pointed out, hey, why do you hit like on your own wall? And then he gave me shit. He's like, oh, shut up, dude. That's, I put all this effort into it. I should hit like. You should hit like. It's like, no. So that's when I noticed a little bit of social awkwardness from him was that no one else does that, and it looks really bad when you do it. And he didn't understand. He's like, oh, I don't know why. You should do it. It's like, no. Never hit like on your own wall. Now, if it's like a group thing going on and you're hitting like and there's a lot of people involved, fine. But so, yeah, I did something and it pissed him off and he blocked me or got rid of me or something on Facebook. And then he went on the Blake and Jade show, and he's like, yeah, he begged me to add him back. I was like, fine, whatever. And I don't know. I was just like, whatever, dude. I don't have a problem with you. You obviously had a problem with me, and so you took me off on Facebook. And so I was like, okay. And then second, he added me with his real name on Facebook. And this was, I think, sometime in June or July or something. And so he added me, and the dumb fuck that he is, he didn't take away anything off his Facebook. I have about 500 friends on my Facebook, and he just added me. And some people know his name, his first name. I'm not going to mention any real names or anything like that, but some people know his first name. And he added me, and I think a few people might have figured it out. I didn't say anything. It's none of my business. And then he started calling me a doxer, and so he blocked me. Like completely blocked me with his real Facebook that he added me, and he accused me of actually like using that picture or something and posting it all over Spreaker and all this and all that. And he was yelling at me, and like I had like one of the worst days at this job I had. It was one of the worst jobs, and it was the worst day, and I was like, really, dude? Like he blew up my Facebook, and he's like, fuck you, man. Why are you using my picture and all this? I'm like, dude, go OD and pretend someone cares. I said something like that because he's just fucking off. Like, really? I'm not going to do that. I don't dox anybody. I just don't. That's probably one way you could tell my socks is I don't really dox anybody. I mean, it's something you can think about. But, yeah, so he bitched at me, and I was just like, and so he blocked me, and I was like, okay. And I do believe he might have taken me off his other account. I'm not too sure. And then, so I was like, whatever, dude, He's the type of guy who goes like so personal into everything. He'll tell you everything about himself, and then he adds you, and then something went wrong that wasn't my fault, but I got blamed for it anyways. It's like on my Facebook, I have all sorts of people. I have some nimbusters. I have, the right wing. I have a few lefties. I have, there's one black person on my list, and I have all sorts of people. So it wasn't anything I did. I didn't say, hey, look, here's Barko. He just added me, and dumb fuck that he was is he didn't really secure his Facebook page very well, and anybody could have gotten to it and used it. And so to this day, I don't even know what happened, but I still got blamed. Whatever happened, I don't know. And I think this is known by now, but I think Shillbilly trolled him a little bit. But I don't think Shillbilly used the fake picture. But from what I heard, Barko was thinking these troll attacks were me, and when they weren't. And I don't care. You can blame me all you want. It's not going to bother me. So yeah, and so all that, and I was just like, wow, dude, just this guy gets so personal, and then like the next day he'll delete you, and then cries and whines to get back on, and it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, this guy's like an emotional wreck. It's sad. This is a grown man in his 40s. I mean, this is supposedly one of the best Spreaker trolls. I mean, it is. I mean, he can agitate everybody and make them chimp hard or just piss everybody off, but he really can't take it, because after all that, so eventually he added me back on his Barko account, and so I was like this, all this, and then so one time, and this was a little bit before Vegas, and he was telling me all this. He was spilling his guts to me about something, like, oh yeah, this. He was talking about somebody and all this, and why he couldn't go to Vegas. I think he said he was going to Texas or something, and I was like, cool, that's fun, and all that. And so, yeah, and and then like I guess a weekend edition came on, and Bibbs was in there, and Bibbs fucking trolled the shit out of Barko. You can always tell when Barko gets all trolled out, because he's like, oh really, that's JV. He starts using like Adam Carolla sort of slang, and it's just like, oh god. And then he fucking chimped out. Like Bibbs is probably the best troll pound for pound. I don't know anybody that can really is better than Bibbs, and Bibbs isn't really even around much anymore. I mean, whenever that fuckhead from England ever comes on, then you'll see Bibbs. But until then, Anyway, so yeah, when that happened, Barko spilled his guts to me. We had like this hour-long conversation in Facebook, and then 2 days later, he takes me off his friends list. Why? Because Bibbs insulted him, and Tweaker delusion said it's in, and he's like, well, he's like, oh, is Apocalypse Bibbs? And he thought that, or he might be thinking it's a multi-use account or something. And no, Bibbs is Bibbs, and Bibbs just trolled the fuck out of Barko, and that, and when that happened, Barko just got rid of me, and so I was just like, fine, he blocked me on another account. He's gotten rid of me twice on Facebook. So at that point, I was just like, the dude's a fucking emotional wreck. Like, there's something really, really wrong with him. And I've always said, when it comes to Barko, he has these control issues, because look at this Bastard FC. Like, they had a good thing going, and whenever they do shows, it's pretty good. It's a fun time. And then he just pulls a plug just because he has them under, wraps, and then poof. And I know that they bitch about it because I hear about it, and it's like, fuck, I don't care that much, but it's really a big control issue, because he has all these people under his wraps, and then boom, gone. And same thing with Spreaker Park Boys. They set their stuff up, they have all their content out there, some of the shows are really great, poof, gone. No notice, and once he even locked all these people out just because he could. Because that's, I don't know. It's kind of funny to me, but I wouldn't think that's too funny if I was one of them. And so yeah, and then now he started the Ginger White Baby or whatever the fuck it was, and it's only a matter of time before he pulls the plug on that. So, and also, it looks like he pulled the plug on his, what do you call it, the robot with a Glock. I'll show you some pictures and the details of this page. I won't post it in the chat, so I'll post it at the top. I'll show you what TOS discrepancies are. That's, you'll see the header. I did a account before. I think it was called the, let's see, what is it called? The Debbie Daily Network Deleted. It was some sort of account I did. I did that. Boom. And what does it say? Spreaker has deleted this user due to discrepancies with our terms of and conditions. So that's what happens when you break the TOS and you piss them off. They'll get rid of you. But if you see something else where it says, let's see here, we're sorry, but the user DJ Bad Guy has left Spreaker. He must be somewhere between Jupiter and the moon. When you see the Jupiter and the moon, this means someone self-deleted. And some people don't understand. You can sort of tell how they got rid of their accounts or if Spreaker got rid of them. I'll show you. I'll show you the BFC, and I'll show you all this other. And so a weird thing I noticed is Barko deleted his robot with a Glock and was trying to get some sympathy from people when he self-deleted. And look, he's no stranger to self-deletes. I mean, this is a guy who deletes his account nearly daily. And you got to think, wait, why does this guy delete his shit daily? It's very simple. It's another reason why he would delete his shows. Here's a grown man in his 40s who has a persona, Barko. He's afraid of other internet radio personalities hearing him talk shit about them. Can you imagine that? You're a grown fucking man. You're doing a show. Oh my God, I don't want to hear Shilly Bong. I don't want him to know that I just talk shit about him. Delete. So before he used to try to bullshit and pretend like, oh yeah, I was trying to protect Aussie Andrew. Like, A, no one really knows who Aussie Andrew is. And B, he's not afraid of people hearing him talk shit because he's a scary dude and he's in Australia. So there's not going to be shit that's going to get done to him. If he talked a lot of shit about, let's say, Debbie or me or Guy Shay, nothing would happen to him. Why? Because he's Aussie fucking Andrew. So when he says that shit, it's just him copping out that he's afraid of, A, what people might screenshot, because, you know, God forbid people screenshot. So hence you got to delete his account like every day or every other day, or got to get rid of all these accounts. And it's just like a total mess. You know, when it comes to Spreaker, you can't really listen to what people say about themselves. You always have to kind of look at the patterns and how they act, because if that were the case, everyone on here would be rich or we'd all be poor. And, you know, when it comes to certain people, I think everyone's, I'll be honest, it seems like everyone's about middle class or lower middle class or something. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I really wish people would kind of say that, you know, it's like, you don't have to be rich to be a good person. In fact, I think it might ruin you a little bit. And anyways, that's a little bit off topic. So, yeah. And I was just thinking of something else here. And so that brings me up into the next subject, which is the reparations thing. And I guess Barko chimped a little bit about reparations. And he was being very serious about it. Well, as serious as it gets in Spreaker. About doing reparations for blacks. And when I made fun of him about it, like, oh yeah, let's just throw money at it and that'll fix it. And then when pressed upon it, he's like, no, I'm not even talking about money. We need to talk about slavery, and we all need to admit that slavery was bad and all this. And I was just thinking, yeah, because that'll work. Let's just all do this PowerPoint presentation about how bad slavery is and all this, and just everything is bad that we did and all that. And gee, magically their behavior will improve, or magically tribalism will cease, or magically race relations will reset. And it's such a bizarre notion that he said that, because I think he actually believed it, because he got really defensive when questioned about it. Like, yeah, let's throw money at the problem, or let's just get a little white guilt going. And I hate to use that word because that's Mr. Midnight Movies, but it was so chicken shit when I was thinking about it. It's like, this is a guy who's too scared to keep shows up because other Spreaker hosts might, hear what he had to say. And again, it's just other Spreaker hosts. They don't know who he is. It's just he's scared of that because I don't know. It's funny. And then he kind of chimped out and he said, "Oh yeah, you and Rick, you're afraid of niggers, and you should never be afraid to call a nigger a nigger." And I was just thinking, yeah, Barko, you're too afraid to, talk shit and keep it up. And then you're yelling at us about how we should never be afraid to call a nigger a nigger. It's like, Barko, oh man, I could just only imagine Barko, like, he just reminds me of the guy in Office Space. Like, he'll be singing rap songs in his car, and then as soon as a black guy rolls up trying to sell flowers, he just locks the door like, fucking nigga, nigga, nigga. I could definitely see Barko doing that. Poor guy. Poor little guy. So that was just a very bizarre notion. So I was like, wow, he's being serious. Reparations, yeah, because that'll just solve it all, right? And to really solve that issue, I think you have to look forward and talk about social issues that affect that community, not talk about reparations, because so basically it's just not worth the effort really to go to all that mess. That group sort of wants social justice and all this and all that, police reform, and so it's a tough issue, I'll be honest, but it's not going to help doing with that whole reparation thing. It's just going to bring on a lot of white guilt. Doing PowerPoint presentations about, how slavery is bad is not going to do a damn thing. Throwing money is not going to do a damn thing. But hey, I guess I don't suffer these delusions. I can actually go a few hours without some sort of drug intake. So I guess I don't have these problems. So whatever. And then the next thing I want to talk about was he kind of chimped at me. So what happened was, he's been asking me, how's your boyfriend Alan Wayne? He's said it probably 5 times. And so I was like, what? See, Barko likes to pretend that because he doesn't use Skype, he doesn't talk to anybody. And that's a very weird concept, because he has a Facebook in which he has at least 30 or 40 Spreaker people. He's very active in my Facebook group called Spreaker Tavern. He posts shows. He interacts with people, and he has a Twitter. And so for him to pretend that, hey, I don't use Skype, so how else could I talk to Alan? It's like, okay, well, Alan has a few Facebooks. Why don't you talk to him? But no, he had to ask me, like, how's your boyfriend? Because I get it, I met Alan in Vegas, so, obviously that's my boyfriend. And I was just asking, like, what he was doing was equivalent to me just going to Stabby and being like, okay, Stabby, how is RD? How's your boyfriend RD? And just over and over. And so I was just like, well, why don't you ask Alan how Alan is? Because I get he was trying to be annoying, and I was just like, well, but at the same time, he actually chimped out at me like the next night by saying, oh yeah, why don't you stick up for your friend? But here's Barko at the same time saying, how's Alan? How's Alan? How's your boyfriend Alan? And kind of being condescending in a way about him. And so then once around Alan, he's like, oh, why don't you defend your friend? Defend your friend. And my whole thing is, there's been a lot of drama, as always, at Spreaker. And, I've usually supported Alan, a lot of his adventures. It kind of sucks because they get deleted. A lot of the best stuff gets deleted, so it's kind of fucking annoying. But I've hit like at his shows. I've been in most of his chats he's been at. So to say I've not been supportive is really silly. And, so a lot of you might not know, but some of the rumors are, in the rumor mill, is that he was sending Leanne, I think, some photos or screenshots or whatever he was doing. I don't know. And it got read out on, I think, Guy Shay's show and News Guy's show. And there's some pretty weird, sick shit. And and just Barko's just screaming at me, why am I not defending him? I'm not going to defend that. I'm not going to defend stupidity. I'm not going to defend bad behavior. I'm going to defend Alan when he's doing good shows and on the right track. I'm not gonna white knight, you know. So sorry, Barko, I'm not an ass licker. And so also what happened at Guy Shea's show the other day was that they're talking about, oh yeah, they might joke and send some of those screenshots to his wife or something. And then and this is where Barko got a little bit into goose mode. Like, he's thinking he's goose. He actually said with this, he said, you better not, he's a BFC comrade or whatever he said. And then Rick said something, oh yeah, I'm going to send something, or I'm going to send a little package, you know, just the screenshots to the wife, or I don't know what it was. But then Barko's, oh yeah, you better not do it. And then I think Rick said something, or what do you do, Barko? And then Barko's like, try me. Like, oh my God, Barko, you're not fucking goose, okay? BFC is not BWC, dar. I mean, what the fuck? Come on, Barko, really? You really think that that's gonna be BWC? You think you're goose? You think you're hardcore? Like, give me a break, dude. You can't even keep an account active longer than 24 hours. I mean, holy shit. And so, yeah, that was basically it. I mean, he chimped a little bit, and he actually did a show right after Alan's because I wasn't white knighting Alan. So I guess that makes me a terrible person because I don't white knight. And then, of course, Barko actually deleted his Robot with a Glock account. And I'm going to post proof at the top of this episode that he deleted it. Because when it comes to TOS violations, there's a certain way, again, I've already mentioned this earlier, there's a certain way that you can tell if someone self-deletes or if Spreaker actually deletes it on your behalf. And it looks like Barko self-deleted. I mean, he's deleted everything else. I mean, he's just so used to deleting accounts, he probably just forgot. He's like, oh shit, I deleted Robot with a Glock. And he probably thought it was a Barko account. And then someone said he deleted his Facebook because he was so stupid and deleted his Robot with a Glock that supposedly, who knows, that he paid for a full year in advance. Which would be dumb, because if he paid for a full year in advance for an account that he can't really use that well, because you can't really chat with it, but it's his account, his money, so if he wants to throw it away, then, and he loses it, and he deletes everything, and he puts all his money into it, then he just might as well shovel that money out into a fucking wooden stove or something. And speaking of that, like, certain people have gotten into fights or arguments with him, and it's funny, he'll loan like microphones and all these phones out to people, and he'll give it to them. Initially, he gives them these phones because, you know, I guess this is atonement, you know. This is what Catholics do when they're all guilt trippy. So he gave Dyslex a phone, and then after a few months, he wanted it back. Really? You had to get that back? Because at first he used the language like, here's a phone, dude. You know, I think something happened to Dyslex, something. And so Barko gave him a cell phone. He sent it to him. Or he sent it to somebody that gave it to him. And then so after a few months, Barko demanded it back. I lent him a phone. And that's the same thing with Kevin Kierstead. I lent him a microphone. And it's one of those like creepy things that he has. He has these control issues. It's like locking people out of accounts or just deleting everything. It's I don't know. I don't have this issue. You know, I just don't. I've never really cared about control because control means it's contained, and contained isn't that fun. So I don't know. So if he ever gives you something, he might demand it back a few months later. So if he sends you something, just send it back. Now, strangely, though, he hasn't demanded any of the money back. Although, good luck getting that back, though, if whoever he sent money to. So I don't even think he'd bother trying because it's not worth the hassle. So I don't know. Weird guy. So I had to do these shows just because he was getting a little uppity. And when you get a little bit uppity, you need to get knocked down. So I had my fun. I needed to do a little show. And hopefully I'll start doing real shows here instead of shitty slam shows like this, where I'm half dead and half tired, you know. Anyways, tweak on.